Hey, this is Derek, and this is WWF Sight, a preview of WWF Sight. WWF Sight appears to be a data mapping tool produced by WWF. There's an open version that anybody can use just by going to the website, and then there's a fuller version that one can access if you have a one WWF account. I'm not sure what that contains yet. That's something for me to look into. But if I hit OK, I'm popped into the tool. So the tool is a mapping interface. And so you're staring at a map. This is using Esri mapping tools. I think it's you can log in with an ArcGIS account. It is a desktop first application that's, I'd say, fairly usable in a mobile context. So if you see on the bottom left here, there's a little tab. You can click on that and it expands a menu which has an accordion filled with a bunch of different data layers that you can look at. So administrative divisions, you can turn that on and see all the way down to the county level. So if I zoom into Kenya, there's Kiambu, which is 1,000 landscapes location. If we go a little bit up to the northwest, there's Lake Naivasha, and you can see the administrative boundaries around it. Okay. At the top, you have a couple of options, and these, again, assume that you have a desktop. So if I click on the legend, it loads up a legend at the bottom, and you can see that it's showing the dotted line for administrative boundaries. If I were to add and remove data layers, it would provide a key for showing that. So that's what that is. There's something called reorder layers, where you can add multiple layers. I think, yeah, this interface is less useful on a mobile device. I am able to drag, but it is awkward. But the idea is that you can turn on different components like administrative boundaries or power lines or other infrastructural data. Okay? And I guess maybe that's what these yellow lines are, the power lines? Well, let's take a look at our legend and find out. So, yeah, okay, so there are some transmission lines. That is data that is available. You can look at maps that are remote analysis of sat map data. So, for example, carbon storage. It takes a look at the landscape and then provides some idea of where carbon is stored. And I think here it's looking at forestry regions. I know a lot of the land around Naivasha is agricultural. If we were to go back to Kiambu, which is heavily forested, you could see that this is dark green in many spots. So that, I think, is what's happening there. And then there's some older data sets. So infrastructure. Yeah, intact forest landscapes in 2016. I'm not sure that all data sets go all places. So here we are in Kiambu, and it doesn't really show much of a change, but maybe if we were to zoom out, we would see. Yeah, okay, so we see some of this map layer in West Africa. So not everything is everywhere. Okay. Oh, but look at this. There's a map outside of Moshi. That's interesting. Okay. So there's another feature which I thought was interesting. Definitely primarily a desktop forward service as well. But you click on this satellite and you get Landsat image discovery. And here you can request satellite imagery from a certain time period. So if I wanted to see sat images from my current view over the past week, I'm doing this in early December, and I would accept up to 20% cloud cover. Let's do 10% and see what pops up. And then I can click this and drag. It's a little weird with my finger. All right, it returns an image from the 4th of December, 2020. I can preview what this would look like. And the preview is not particularly high resolution. There it is. All right, so here's a Landsat that passed over. Like I said, it's not very high res. This is, I think, the maximum resolution. So you can see it's showing some administrative details, but I'm not quite sure of the resolution. And it's showing it 0.42% cloud cover. Okay. Now, if I were to, I can go and add this to cart, and then go, I can export a CSV. I'm not sure what that is. Let's take a look. HTML viewer. Let's just look at what the CSV looks like. Okay. HTML viewer is struggling a little bit. Maybe it's a large data file. Maybe it's the application. Does not appear to be loading. Okay. Can I go to my cart? Aha. Review and submit. And I can go to a cart, and then I can publish this via a web map. So presumably I could embed this in a website and just have the particular data layers that I selected show up on another website. To do this, you need an ArcGIS Online account. I don't have one at the moment, so I can't explore what that looks like. But it appears to be a function that will allow users to turn on a bunch of layers and then export it to their own website. Cool. You can also generate a PDF. And it will do the same thing. So there are several export modes to this map. All in all, I think it's kind of a cool tool. Like I said, it is primarily for desktop environment, but some of these features are usable at a mobile level. And the fact that you can get what looks to be close to 30, maybe 40 different maps shown fairly simply is impressive. So this might be a model that we could reference or work with in order to incorporate it into Terrasso if we determine that having multiple data layers is useful. We conducted an interview with Reforestoramos Mexico for the Cobiocom landscape, and they referenced a couple of open data sets run by an organization in Mexico they would like to see in some common tool. So clearly the need is there. I think the goal of getting access to SatMap data, recent SatMap data, is also very interesting to some of our users. So the question is not so much about functionality, but usability if we're looking at a mobile-first audience. All right, that is WWF Sight.